again, please raise your hand to ask a question. We'll start with Nick.
Petrovic, what can you say about him? This is a guy who's been in the minors grinding.
Yeah.
He's played more games for you in the playoffs than the regular season. Just what can you say about him getting rewarded?
Yeah, great. You know, a lot of, I think any playoff journey you go on, a lot of unsung heroes. Came up last year and did the exact same thing for us in the playoffs. You know, I think I got a lot of time for him. You know, I always liked him. He's not a career minor leaguer. This guy's got a lot of NHL games under his belt, and you know, he kind of got to a point in his career where he's an American League captain and leadership and things like that. But you know, I've always liked his makeup and his game, and you know, he made a believer out of me last year in the playoffs. So you know, when we got to that point of the year this year where we were talking about depth up here. You know, we brought him in, and you know, he's an easy guy for a coach to play.
Yesterday, you said if your defensive defensemen have to start scoring, you're in trouble.
Good point.
So what is it?
No, I said if we have to count on our defensive defensemen to score.
I get it right.
Yeah.
But what does it mean when your team does get contributions from
Yeah.
Petrovic, and then Cody Ceci had a few good
Yeah.
looks as well?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? Good point by you, and you're right. I did say that, and it's true. At the same time, I thought we had a lot more guys look a lot more dangerous tonight, up and down the lineup, than we did the other night, and you know, that's a credit to our group. We looked at last game, we made some adjustments, and you know, our whole group was more dangerous, and you know, we got some great contributions though from some unsung heroes. Our penalty kill, I thought Sam Steele was outstanding tonight. Blackwell, a couple block shots. You know, a lot of work by guys that don't get noticed a lot.
Pete, on the video review, your counterpart Scott Arneal believes that if they ruled it a kick, and it appears they did, that the fact that it went off of Hellebuck's stick and in means it shouldn't have counted. That's how the rule reads. What was your read on that play?
Well, I'm not sure that's how the rule reads. I think the rule reads that if I believe if the goalie's making a play on the puck, that it's a goal. So that's the difference. Is it just deflected off him, or is he trying to make a play with the puck? And I think they got it right.
Is that how they explained it to you? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Coach, you just mentioned the penalty kill. In the postseason so far, you're 31 out of 35 on successes on the PK, 89%. What makes the Stars penalty kill so successful?
Yeah. You know what? Great attention to detail by Alain Nazardine, and he runs that group. Great buy-in from the guys that are on that group. Great goaltending is always a key to penalty killing. You know, I think as a team, though, I mean, we're still taking too many. We're putting too much pressure on our penalty kill, but they've been absolutely outstanding so far.
Yeah, you talked about how hard it is for any team to win 2 in a row, and you're on the right side of that right now, having won the first game. So how big was this coming off a shutout to have this kind of game?
Oh, it was big. It was a response. You know, and I talked to our group today. It's the best response team that I've coached, you know, in my time here, coming off either, not necessarily a poor effort, but, you know, a loss, or, you know, maybe we're not as good as we could be, you know, rectifying that quickly. And, you know, other than that blip at the end of the season where, you know, we sat a bunch of guys and had key guys out, you know, it's one of the reasons we haven't had extended losing streaks around here.
Pete, from the moment of Petro's goal until the end of the review, I think it was like 6 to 7 minutes. I mean, they played almost the entirety of Freebird during it. But I'm curious from your point of view, I mean, what's that like, A, on the bench during the review, and then B, what did you make of the effort coming out of that review and Mikko's goal there to give you some assurance?
I mean, you know what, it's a long review, but I think you want them. I at that point you want them to take as much time as they need to get it right. You know, I don't want them to rush and not get it right. So, you know, I think you have to have some patience in that. You I think depending on this, I felt fairly confident it was a goal. So did our group. So did our video guys that were watching it. So it maybe it didn't feel as long as Freebird, but listen, we were on the right side of the momentum at that point. So I'm not surprised how we played coming out of that. We got right back at it, and I really liked our last 5-6 minutes.
Can you put your finger on what makes this the best response team that you've ever coached?
There's an honesty to the group and the leadership in the group. They're willing to accept hard coaching. You don't have to sugarcoat it with them, which is nice. Some teams, some coaches, sometimes you gotta, be careful not to hurt feelings and things like that. I don't have to worry about that with our group, and it starts with our leadership guys. If Jamie Benn is the first guy in line to accept criticism, then everyone else kind of falls in line, and it's not like we it's constructive criticism, but they're willing to go there without pushback, and I think that's always a part of fixing what's wrong.
I'm not sure what else you can say about Mikko at this point, but comes out and does it again tonight. What do you make of the run that he's on, and in your estimation, and as far as you can remember maybe even, where does this rank in terms of playoff runs? Well,
it's the best performance, I've got to witness standing where I'm standing with a guy on my team for this extended period. But for me, he's just getting started. He's just warming up here. I think he's on a mission.
We'll do 2 more questions, Robert.
Mason Marchment looked pretty frustrated at the end of the second period. He had a little bit of an interaction with one of the officials. Did you see that interaction, and do you have a comment on it at all?
I saw the interaction. I saw him give him a tap on the shin pads. I didn't understand. I don't know the context of what happened. So is it a friendly tap? Was he just acknowledging that he was there? I don't know.
Our last question, go to Mike.
Hey, Pete. You talk about the response, a 2-2 game in the third period. You've done this a couple of times in the playoffs. What is that? I mean, it just seems like that's grabbing a game that could go either way and saying, we're going to make it go our way.
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, it's that time of year. And listen, Winnipeg's a great team, and they don't give you much, and they defend well, and, so they're there's not going to be blowouts, or games that are runaways in this game. I know we lost 4-0 the other night. I didn't believe that was a 4-0 game. I thought that was a closer game, and I think tonight's a closer game than the score indicates. But you have to settle in and be comfortable in those type of games.
Thanks, Pete.
Okay.
Reminder, please raise your hand to ask questions, and we will pass you a mic.
Mikael, a lot has been said about Mikko. I'm not sure what else can be added at this point, but what's it like to watch him do these performances night in and night out?
It's great to be on the same side for sure. I mean, we all can see what he's doing out there right now. He's such a great player, and he's playing in a really high level right now. So it's great to be on the same side, and hopefully he keeps going.
So you get tripped. How did you have the presence of mind just to keep control of the puck and pass it to Thomas? And Thomas, could you take me through that play, please?
Yeah, I mean, you just try to make a play there. Obviously, they're having a penalty, so you have a little more freedom to try to make a play in the middle of the ice. So good thing Thomas was there, and we got the goal.
I mean, I was just watching Granny go 1-on-5 up the ice for 10 seconds like everyone else, and just kind of found my way in the slot, hoping he would send it there, and prayed it wouldn't bounce over my stick, and just put a shot on net, went in.
Hey, Thomas. I'm in back. Can you tell us a little bit about the story of Alex Petrovic? Because I think you know him a little bit, and just the fact he has had to grind to get to this moment and then to get that moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome for him. He deserves it. He's been, like you said, grinding away in the American League for the past, 5, 6, 7 years. He did it last year for us. He's doing it this year for us. He comes in. He's so solid on the third pair. And, he plays the right way, and he got rewarded tonight, and couldn't happen to a better guy.
Thomas, when you have a guy like Miro go out, does your mindset have to change at all in the way that you need to step up and eat up those minutes and, put the points on the board the way you did tonight, or is it just business as usual for you?
It's business as usual. I'm just doing the same thing I've always done. Moving my feet with the puck, without the puck, moving the puck up to the forwards, and defending hard. It's the main thing.
Hey, Mikael, you're coming off a game in which you guys got shut out. Was there a lot of talk about getting the scoring up and getting the depth going up, especially because a lot of guys scored tonight?
Yeah. Obviously, in the last game, we didn't do a good enough job to get to the net and being in front of the goalie's eyes. So I think we did a really good job tonight. We got rewarded for that, it's we just gotta keep doing that. There was a lot of good things tonight, and after the next one.
For Thomas, Hellebuck obviously is one of the best goalies in this league. Had his struggles in round one on the road, coming off a shutout against you last game. How important do you think it was for your team to get to him tonight, get some pucks in the net, and sort of halt that momentum?
Yeah, I mean, that was huge for us. Obviously, scoring goals is pretty important in this game. But I think, like Granny said, we didn't do a good enough job in game two of getting pucks and bodies to the net. So that was a really big focus for us tonight, and I think we did it pretty well.
For both you guys, 23 saves for Otter tonight. There was a stretch there in the second period where they had a couple surges, and it looked like maybe that game could have been 3-2 at a couple of different points, and he was able to keep them off the scoreboard. What did you see in his performance, and how important was that stretch in particular?
He's been great. He's rock solid there, and like you said, when we need a saves, he feels like he's making those and keeping us in a game. So he's been great, and it's great to play out there when you have all the confidence for your goalie.
Last one here, Robert.
Thomas, on the power play, it seems like all playoffs, you all have been getting a goal from the power play almost every night, even with personnel changing or with Robo coming back in. What's allowed you all to be so consistent in the playoffs?
I think we keep it simple. It's like a 5-on-5. It's pucks and bodies to net. And then at the same time, we have a lot of skilled players on both units, and you give them time and space, they're going to make plays.
Thanks, guys. We'll have Pete next.
Can you describe the goal from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, we were battling our zone a little bit and had a good breakout, and then I just followed up the rush. Usually I'm not in that position, but just thought we had good control, and Mikko made a nice pass to me. I passed it back to him and shot on net, rebound, kind of went off my skate and off Hellebuck and in. So it was a pretty lucky goal, but it was a good timely goal.
Did it hit your stick or Sandberg's stick before it got to Hellebuck? Do you even know?
I think it hit Sandberg's stick, but I mean, I knew it hit Hellebuck and went in. But yeah, that's kind of all I saw.
What was that like on the bench as you're waiting for the? It was 5 minutes. It seemed like.
Yeah, I know. It's I was like, the refs are making me a little nervous, but I mean, we seen the replay. We kind of knew what happened, so. We were pretty confident it counted.
Do you remember your last playoff goal?
Yeah, I do. It was actually in Brooklyn at against the Islanders.
Game winner?
Yeah, it was a game winner.
Yeah, I looked it up. What's this journey been
Long
like?
time ago.
Been like for you, right? Like you've played more games in the playoffs for this team than in the regular season, right? You've played a lot of American League games, probably for this type of moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think I kind of a little bit older, playing in the American League, just kind of playing hard down there. We got a great culture down there. Even though I'm 33, I'm still trying to improve my game a little bit, and just kind of support this team however I can, and whenever my name's called, I just try to stay ready and try to bring that veteran presence a little bit and just be steady back there.
How much did the playoffs help you last year for this year? Because it seems like you're very calm out there. It doesn't seem like you're lost in the moment at all.
Yeah, it's easier. I think just like the day-to-day routine stuff helps a lot, and I think last year I thought I handled it pretty well, and this year it just makes it a little bit easier.
What was the message on the bench during that long review?
Not much. I think everyone was kind of skating around trying to stay warm, and but there wasn't really much said. We were kind of looking at the replay and whatnot, but there wasn't really much being said.
When you're in a tight game like that, what kind of confidence do you get knowing Jake's back there in goal?
Huge. He's a rock for this team. He always has been. So I think when he's kicking, he gives us a chance every night.
What do you feel like you've shown? What do you feel like you've proven about yourself over the course of the last several weeks now with the way that you played?
I think just bringing a consistent game, with me and Bischel. He's a younger guy. We played together down in Texas, and I think if we can just be consistent back there, and we know our role. Just keep it simple, clear the net front, break pucks out, be physical when we can. If you just do that, then the rest kind of takes care of itself. We got a lot of skill on this team, so we're not too worried about offense.
Another multi-point game for Mikko. What's there left to say about this guy?
Yeah, it's a huge pickup at the deadline. So he's been awesome for us. He's a great guy in the room, and he's been on a tear. So it's really helped us.
During that lengthy review, is there a moment where you start to think maybe this one isn't going to count? And then you kind of think about the momentum shift that comes from
you know what? We seen the replay, and we knew it kind of went off a couple of guys' sticks or went off Hellebuck and in. Didn't really look like a kicking motion. I kind of just put my skate there. But like you said, there's always that. You never know what they're looking at or what kind of thing they're seeing. So. I was just happy to see that it counted.
They played almost the entirety of Freebird.
Honestly, I was just trying to stay dialed in, whether it went in or not. I didn't even know what song was playing.
You talk about the amount of time between playoff goals for you. Yeah. Was there ever a time where you wondered if this opportunity would come again?
Yeah, it always slips in my mind. But I think just for me, it was just staying ready. You never know when that opportunity will come. So whenever it does, you just want to take advantage of it and, just make the most of it. So I just thought, I kept doing that the last 5 years and, just staying ready.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is it belief in yourself? Is it desire to win the Stanley Cup? What keeps you going? You're a regular in this league.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of guys who would grind like you have to get back here.
Yeah, it was a grind. When you start in the American League, come up to the NHL, everything's great up here, and then you get sent down again. You're grinding down there, bus trips, commercial flights, everything. It's tough, but I think it humbles you a bit, and it kind of teaches you what's more important. We have a family now, and that takes my mind off hockey a little bit away from the rink, and I think that definitely helps a lot. And being Mother's Day today, that's it's nice. Shout out to my mom and Brooke, my wife. So, but yeah, it's we're always just believing in ourselves and just trying to make what's best for our family. And I think just me working hard and trying to take advantage of the opportunity.
Brooke, Brooke.
Yeah.
And what's your mom's name?
Kim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does she live?
They're from Edmonton, Alberta. That's where we're from.
On TV there?
Yeah.
Scoring in not just you, but the team in the third period and the 2-2 game, and you've done this several times in the playoffs as a team.
Yeah, it's important. I think good start to the game, I would say. First period was really good, and then kind of second was theirs for sure. They outplayed us, they outbattled us. They were offense all the time, and we were defending too much. But once again, Otter makes some big saves, and yeah, third periods have been good. In the games that we won, we really pushed in the third and didn't sit back at all. And obviously, it's good to get not only 1 goal lead to final minutes, 3-goal lead basically. So that makes it a little bit easier.
And what do you see on Petro's goal?
Yeah, he was obviously he's playing great. He's defensive defenseman, but he's joining the rush as we saw on that play, and I didn't really see how it ended up in. I knew they were reviewing it, but it's good for us and for Petro that it counted.
What was your thought process on the bench there during the review?
Yeah, like I said, I saw him kind of kick it, but I didn't see a replay of it until I actually haven't seen it even now. But it was I didn't know. I thought it was 50-50 probably, but thank God they called it a goal.
Did you guys get energy because you came roaring out of that 5-minute break or whatever?
5-minute break on
when the review was going on.
Oh yeah,
it just seems like you guys had some of your best shifts right after that.
I guess we everybody got some rest, and we were fresh after that, so maybe it was a good thing for us.
If that review went the other way, I mean, could this result or the game gone the other way? I mean, it seemed like it changed, the whole game changed in that moment.
For sure, if we tie game still after that, if it goes the other way, who knows who gets the next goal, but obviously gave us energy. But I think no matter which way it goes, we're pretty good at keeping it even keel and just keep working, because I think we had a pretty good third before that even, so I think we would have still played well, but who knows what happens after that.
What's it like to see a guy like Petro who's just grinded in the AHL all year get an opportunity in a moment like that?
Yeah, I'm happy to see him do well, and like I said, he's been playing really well. He's been very solid defensively. I think that's what we all expect from him, and obviously physical. Like we saw last game, he hit Lowry and he almost went to the third row. So it was that's what it brings to the physicality.
The streak does come to an end. 13 straight goals that you either scored or assisted on. What can you make of a run like you just had, and have you even pondered where it sits in Stanley Cup playoff history?
No, I'm trying to stay in the moment. Obviously, I'm happy to help the team. I'll try to keep doing that as much as I can, both ends of the ice. But I'm just trying to stay in the moment and even keel after wins and good games. So not much to say about that.
How important was it for you guys to retake the series lead? Now you've got Game 4 here at home.
It's important, obviously home ice in playoffs. It's really important to hold it as much as you can. Obviously, there's good teams. Winnipeg is a good team, and some parts of the second they could have probably take the lead even there. So it's important, and we got to really reset tomorrow and play a good game, because we know they're gonna play their best game of the playoffs probably next game. So we got to answer.